Good morning. I'm just waiting a little bit for some folks to join before I get started. Let's see. I am here with a preview on the podcast for yoga for the brain and mental health. And just giving a preview today as we're needing to reschedule. Lots of illness going around. I had to reschedule last time as I came down with COVID earlier in January, mid-January, and I would say fully recovered now except for this lingering cough, but I am very grateful and happy to be on the other side of illness, and I'm glad that some folks could come join me today as I give a little preview on yoga for the brain and mental health. Just a wonderful topic. And so I know some folks have been waiting to hear me speak, so I'm going to talk a little bit on it today. Hello, for those of you watching this, I am Pamela, Thriving Lotus. My website is www.thrivinglotus.life. You can also find me on Instagram as thrivinglotus.life, and Facebook. I have a yoga page and a coaching page. And, excuse me, that leads me into, I have multiple certifications, certified holistic well-being life coach and spiritual mentor. Also a yoga and sound therapy practitioner. I'm 500 RYT. I've been teaching yoga since 2016 and practicing since about 2000. And I love breathwork, meditation, and yoga for their holistic mind, body, and spirit integration and life balance capabilities. They have assisted me in my own transformation life journey, and so I desire to share that with others in hopes that it'll do the same for them. And just a little bit about myself. I have experienced a lot of traumas in life. Everybody does. Everybody there are all sorts. Illness is one type of trauma. And then the more, common ones, or the ones that you would, are more obvious ones. That's what I meant to say. But, anything that disrupts our regulated processes in our mind, body, spirit is a trauma. And so everybody goes through them. Birth itself is a trauma. And what I found is that every trauma that I've overcome has led me into a greater opening of knowing myself more fully, greater spiritual awakening. And I guess my first big one would have been I was in an abusive marriage. I got married very young, and a divorce that followed 5 years later. Both were traumatic, and then later on I got Lyme disease, melanoma, illnesses like that are a little scary. It was actually during Lyme disease that I discovered yoga back in, it was my divorce. During my divorce, I discovered yoga. And it was just the calming and the connection that I got with myself really helped me love myself through the healing process. And then when I had Lyme disease, that was really the only movement I could do when I started recovering. And that led me into an even greater appreciation for yoga and its physical and psychological healing benefits. And that led me to want to be a yoga instructor and go down that path. And after recovering from Lyme disease, I had been with my second husband at least a decade by then, I guess. But he passed away after 14 years of our being together from a rare cancer. And the whole experience was very traumatic for me because it was unexpected and just not knowing what he even had or if he was going to make it. And kind of, as any human would, assuming he was going to make it, not knowing what he had. And so that was a very scary, traumatic experience. And then losing him was like my heart shattered, and my foundation that I had built my physical life on, everything, and emotional and spiritually, my whole being as I knew it in this human life felt shattered. And I felt like I had to rebuild after that. And, there was definitely a down period, a darkness that we all go through when we're going through traumas. It's part of the healing process. And again, yoga thankfully got me back to my body and to feeling through my emotions and being able to work through that to heal. So back to our topic on how this has to do with yoga being good for the brain and mental health. The brain is really our entire body, but especially our brain and nervous system are affected by traumas. Illnesses included, a lot of illnesses, not just Lyme disease, but there are a lot of viruses like Epstein-Barr, and there are other, just even the flu and things that can leave lasting impressions on a person's body, their nervous system and immune system, and cause autoimmune, and that can affect our brain. There's something we call brain fog that one cause can be autoimmune. There are tons of causes though. So if you ever are experiencing issues with focus, concentration, feeling like your brain is foggy, the first thing you should do is go to your physician and get a blood work done, to get comprehensive testing done to make sure that there are no obvious causes like vitamin deficiencies. They'll ask you about your diet because, if you're not, you could be missing something in your diet, or if you have a poor diet, that can cause brain fog, as well as your physical activity that affects your brain. And if you're not moving enough, so your breath, and this is one reason why yoga is so wonderful, is that movements with your breath get your breath really flowing through you, which gets all of your bodily processes flowing smoother and efficiently. And that breath gives you your energy. So moving with your breath is giving you energy that's sustaining you throughout the day, and it's giving your mind mental energy. And so that really combats any brain fog that might be there from other causes. Those causes, again, can be lack of physical activity. Dehydration is a big one. Of course, poor diets or nutrient deficiencies, hormonal or, like I said, autoimmune, those kind of things. Even allergies and side effects from drugs or foods that we have allergies. And then, any of that can cause brain fog. And sometimes our brains really can just seem slow because our energy's low. and we're exhausted and depleted. Especially in young people, you will see this if they're overworking or overstressing, overreacting emotionally to life's events, they can get burnt out. And this was me not long ago, so I'll say we. We can get burnt out. And one thing yoga has been able to do for me is I was able to set the intention of how important peace of mind and peace was for my life. And I was able to achieve that through yoga, breathwork, meditation practices in my life. And so yoga therapy, yoga in its fullest is not just for a lot of people hear the yoga therapy and think, it's more for people with major health conditions or injuries, older folks, and it's just as beneficial to the younger generation who has a lot of stress and anxiety and burnout. So it's great for counteracting that. So I'm not going to go as in depth here. This is just a preview of what the interview will be with Rahana, and I'll as soon as she's able to give me a rescheduled date, I'll let you guys know when that is if you'd like to tune in and learn more about brain fog, its symptoms, and how yoga and related practices, but even other, because yoga therapy is not just yoga either, even though it has the word yoga in there. It is a holistic practice that looks at the whole person, so mind, body, spirit, and imbalances. So I said earlier how traumas, including illnesses of any sort, any imbalance that comes from externally affects us internally, affects our mind, body, and spirit, and can throw us off balance in all those parts of our being. And yoga therapy provides practices that don't even have to include yoga. If yoga's not your thing, it could be, dance or Tai Chi. But movement with your breath, and incorporating that into other overall lifestyle changes. So it looks at your diet, your nutrition, as well as what you're doing for you. What do you do for you in your life? Your self-care, your self-love in action. That's a big one. And then I mentioned a lot of people experiencing burnout and stress this day and age, anxiety, looking at are you balanced in the area of rest and relaxation? Are you just go, go, go and do, or are you spending that time that you need to get not only proper sleep, but recharging and refueling your energy and mind, body, and spirit through practices that are we call relaxation practices, and yoga therapy includes a lot of those as well. So if you are interested in yoga therapy, learning more about it and what it can offer you, I offer private yoga instruction, but that's just the yoga practice. That's a great place to start if you don't know yoga at all and you do want to learn yoga. But then yoga therapy, as I'm saying, is much more holistic and able to address the whole you and really help you find life balance and overall improvement in every area of your life. Because every area is so integrated, and looking at that holistic view. So I'm going to leave you with the one practice I shared last time, mentioning it again, but also just some other practices, yoga postures, if you do like yoga, that are good for mental health would be, if you do a lot of yoga and you know what inversions are, any of those, shoulder stand, headstand, are going to be more advanced postures that do stimulate the brain, obviously, and are fun, super fun. But if you're a beginner to yoga, there are plenty as well. Just any posture that you can meditate in, because meditation is truly, it is the goal of a yoga practice. Traditionally, that's why you do the yoga practice, is to get you into that calm and focus and concentration needed to be able to meditate, because meditation brings you to a place that sleep can't even bring you to, as far as just that healing, calming, centering, grounding place that integrates your mind, body, and spirit. So any posture, lotus or half lotus included, or even just Indian style easy posture, that you can close your eyes, come to your breath, and bring your awareness to your breath, to your body, to your center. And going from there, that's going to increase that flow of your breath through your body, which is increasing your concentration, focus, memory, all of that, because it's increasing blood flow to your brain and energy to your brain. So the one practice that I shared last time that I'll share again is humming bee breathing. It's a pranayama. There's all sorts of pranayama. I'm sure if you are familiar with yoga, you've heard of alternative nostril breathing. That's another one that's really good for the brain. And obviously just deep diaphragmatic breathing, which is step one. If you're not familiar with that, learn it today, right now, after you get off this live with me. So humming bee breathing, it boosts concentration, clears mental blocks, gives feelings of comfort and happiness. And this is great for children too, especially children with ADD, ADHD, autism, because the humming sound and vibrations help calm. So again, for anybody with burnout, stress, anxiety, panic attacks, this is going to be really beneficial for you. So the humming sound, the vibration, I'm a sound therapist, so you can ask me more about that and vibrations as well, how healing they are. But this is one you can do on your own. You don't have to play an instrument or sing or anything. And it helps calm and soothe your mind. It helps you remove that stress, fatigue, negative emotions. And so humming bee breathing, we're just going to put our index fingers in our ears and press towards your cheeks. So you're plugging your ears up here, taking a deep inhale, and then humming as you exhale. And repeating this several times. And keep repeating. And don't worry about how you look. Nobody else matters, only you. So do what you need. And this is a wonderful, beneficial practice. It kind of reminds me when I was a child, I used to love to take baths and go underwater and I'd, plug up my ears and I would hum underwater, and it was just my thing that I did when I was a child. So this pranayama practice is dear to me there, because it was something that I just naturally was drawn to do as a child. So thank you for joining me live today, or if you check this out later non-live, thank you for joining me and hearing this preview on yoga for brain and mental health. And I hope you will join me and Rahana for much more in-depth conversation about that. And I will be posting the rescheduled date shortly as soon as I get that. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.